Good morning, afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to this week's broadcast of AOR's Season 9 GT3 Pro League. My name is NortyNorts, and in the commentary box with me today is insulaventus. Insul, how are you doing today?
It feels good to be back, man. Excited for this race. It's going to be Road America, which is always going to be interesting.
Yes. Yeah, so talking of Road America, just say, as he's saying he's getting back, gentleman's just been on holiday to, was it Mallorca?
Yeah, it was a surprise holiday, so got a bit 2 days notice.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't in the box.
Yeah, and I got to sit in the rain working, like many of the rest of us. So, as Insul mentioned, this is Road America. I'll just quickly bring up the track. It has... It's in the US, obviously, Wisconsin. 6.51 kilometers long. You can do the maths for the miles with 14 turns. Insul, is this one of your tracks that you like?
Yeah, actually, we're going to race this tomorrow in the Endurance League. So, well, the thing is, this track is so interesting. It's a lot of, like, there's a love-hate relationship from a lot of the drivers. So, it has a lot of, it's very technical. It has a lot of, like, fast sweeping turns that can throw your car off very easily. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It's a bit wide as well, so we can see some more passing action and fighting in 2 and 2.
Yep, and I have just been kicked from the stream.
Yep, having some trouble
from
again.
The game. Yep, it's really good. 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, as you were talking about the turns, we'll get loaded back into that for you guys so you can see how qualifying is going. We'll bring back up the... In fact, we'll talk about the calendar. So last week, Insul wasn't with us and we had Silverstone. It was quite a good race. Personally, there wasn't as much action as there was in Red Bull Ring the week before. This week, week 5, we're in Road America, and then next week, Long Beach. One of my favourite tracks. Insul, how do you feel about Long Beach?
I actually have no recognition of that track whatsoever. I've never raced on it, so it's going to be interesting to learn about that.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's got it's a beautiful track. It's really good. Then after that, we've got Zhuhai, and then we move on to Zolder and Mount Panorama Circuit and Fuji. But today's race is. Bear with me for a sec. There we go, Lened, good. So yeah, today's race is Road America, as we said. Point standings wise, if we move on to the Drivers' Championship, and then we can talk about the guys in a minute. So Scott has moved into first position.
Yes, Ironic has finally been dethroned. That was, I think it was, I can't remember, let me check. Yeah, so Ironic finished in 4th. At Silverstone, and that's what's caused Scott to shoot up into the lead. And he's still just 6 points away. So these two guys are like the titans of this this tier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're 60/70 points above everyone else. So these guys are battling it out for 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, and it looks. I mean, there is a chance that someone else could.
Of course it is, yeah, but you never know, because these guys have been very, very, very consistent, as in...
I mean, 60 points is a lot, right? But there's 40 points for a win, so yeah, if they had accidents that take them out of the race, I mean, we saw Ironic had a couple of incidents on the Red Bull Ring with the rain. Maybe if we have some more kind of weather in the season, it might mix things up a little bit, but...
Yeah, absolutely, and maybe if they get like mixed up in some big incident that a lot of the other guys have been. We have had some big crashes with Ricky at Red Bull Ring, of course, actually spinning, losing a wheel and everything, and I think it was like 4 or 5 cars. Yeah, so the thing is, Ironic has finished the first 2 times in a row, and then 6th, and then 4th. So if he gets into an incident and maybe finishes 10th or something, that's gonna really push him down into the points, and maybe. As we can see on the points, the Shagdan and Lusty is at 70 points.
Yeah.
So if Scott and Ironic miraculously have a bad race, they can actually shoot up into the lead and compete for...
yeah. But I mean, the rest... missing our leaders out with their 60-point gap. The rest of the table is really tight, really. I mean, you're looking at 2 points, 5 points. There's not a big gap, and people are moving around. You know, you look at the likes of Llewellyn, who last week finished second, and he shot up 12 places into 13th spot, so he's not far off the top 10. You know, I think it's really good. The rest of the season's looking really, or the rest of the league table is looking really tight.
Absolutely, yeah. As you can see from the third place with Lusty at 77, and then down to down the WMDR Martin as well. Those points are really close. Can really change up fast.
So we'll take a look at the lower end of the table. A lot of guys dropped out of the top half down here. Still a lot of points up for grabs. We'll show you the point system and the way it works in just a minute. But you can see that, again, throughout that table, there is not a lot of distance between the drivers, right? The biggest one there is an 8-point gap, and that's Shabazz in 28th to J. Cool in 27th. So even there, these guys can quite easily move up towards the top half of the table, if you would.
Absolutely, yeah. They have 2 did not start and 2 did not finish, I think. So if they actually manage to finish some races, I mean, that's going to make them shoot up the points range, of course.
So, just quickly, we'll show you the team championships. Not a lot happened after last week, apart from the fact that thanks to our race winner last week, Scott, and it's Lusty as his teammate, right, for BMW Turner Sports. They moved above Ironic and Marvin's team of Akari Sports. You got the BMW of BMW Turner Sports and the Renaults of the Scary Sports. So there was a positional change. Now, I mean, that kind of plays testament to how well Lusty has been driving, right? I think it's been pretty close between Ironic and Scott, but Lusty's definitely been outperforming, I would say, Marvin at this stage so far in the season.
Yeah, Lusty's on a roll. He started the first race. I mean, he finished it in 14th. Then it was Dubai at 9th, and then Red Bull Ring at 9th, and now he's at Silverstone. He was 6th. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep this momentum and get these better and better finishing places. And then it's going to be really good for the team, as Scott is a really strong driver.
Yes.
And they might be just running away with the team championship if Lusty can manage to keep pace.
Yeah, exactly. And my Project Cars has just stopped again, which is great. So we're definitely having some extreme issues this week compared to last week. Only had once of those last week. So I'll go ahead and fix that as we take a quick look at the point system. So as the point system here shows, there is 40 points up for grabs for first place. There is quite a large gap, where we're talking about 60 odd points, 70 points between the guys in first and second. But as we mentioned, in between the rest of the table, there's not really that much of a distance. You know, some guys don't have any points in between them. 1, 2s, 3s. The highest we saw was an 8. So depending on where you finish, you really can jump up the table quite a lot.
They did.
Yeah. I'm just going to try and bring Project Cars 2 back up.
Okay, so a lot of the guys are putting in lap times right now in qualifying, and a good lap time around here would be like 2:08, but there's actually a lot of people putting in 2:07s right now. Everyone up to 5th place have put in 2:07, so that's Ironic is at pole again with actually almost a second faster than Nagrom.
How is
get a closer look when you get it back in game.
Yeah, how is Scott looking?
Scott is in 10th place.
See, his qualifying's not been that, you know, he's performed so well, given that his qualifying kind of positions, let's say, during the season.
I think since and in the races so far, consistent, and he's been qualifying further and further up, I mean, down in the positions, as in he qualified 14th, then he just went down from there, so in the previous races.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll be able to set a good lap now. Looks like he's have been having a clean lap at this one, so maybe he's gonna shoot up there again.
So I am having, I think my laptop is about to have a complete fit and die, which is it's really good right now.
Okay, yeah, so there's a guy in chat, the TM8 the ace. Yeah, we're having some stability issues right now. Trying to fire up the game again.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it loaded back up, but it's kind of hating on me right now.
Yep.
I think it's the same kind of issue last week where the game wants to stop my broadcaster. So give me a second. We'll just jump
just
out of that.
just
Okay, and we're back. So when it rains, it pours. You get a game crash, which then crashes your broadcaster, which then crashes your chat app. So I couldn't even speak to my colleague in insulaventus. Are you still there, buddy?
yeah, I'm still there.
Good times.
I figured something was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So sorry, where were we in the race?
We're about to finish qualifying. It's 1 minute left.
I'll try and get back in before that.
Yeah.
Guys?
Okay, so Scott just increased his position to 6th place. He's been improving every lap, so maybe he's gonna bring it up to somewhere around 3rd place. Maybe he's in 6th right now.
Insulaventus still in 1st?
You mean ironic?
Oh, ironic. Sorry.
Yeah, ironic is actually set a blistering pace that no one's been able to match. So this might be the track for him.
That's kind of a common theme for him, though, right? I mean, he has had some. He has taken like quali by quite a gap in a few races, right?
Absolutely, yeah, he's been dominating almost the poles in qualifying.
Okay.
Can in fact check.
Right now, it won't let me load in. I think that's just because you guys are so close to the end of qualifying. It does show me as a broadcaster, but it's just telling me to wait. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Luckily,
Yep. Yeah. The qualifying is now complete. It's going to be 2 minutes approximately before the race starts. So hopefully you can get back in then. So in 1st place we have Ironic. He's at pole, and then actually we have John Beauregard in the Renault as well.
Yeah.
And then Nagrom. Sorry?
No, it's okay. Keep going. Sorry. Then Nagrom.
Yeah, and then actually Lustig coming out, or I think we might have had a disconnect there.
Oh, is this in the game of drivers?
Oh, it's probably no, it's a timing bug. Yeah, I didn't catch who had it either. So yeah, and Dan Shanker is about to take over the whole timing board. Yeah, okay, so it was Ironic and then John Beauregard, actually. I haven't seen him so far up in the qualifiers yet.
No, but I think he did quite well last week. Because he moved up a couple of places from 11th to 9th.
Yeah, he actually qualified 2nd, as I can see now, at Silverstone as well.
Mm. So I think his qualifying pace, he's been putting in more practice for sure.
Yeah, absolutely picked up some pace in the last rounds.
So guys, what we're doing is just waiting to be able to load in. The guys are going to have a formation lap before they actually set off, so we shouldn't miss the start of the race if all goes well. I'm thinking that the race should allow me to join once the race has started, because it did last week when I got kicked out, so we'll just see if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, to address your question, the Ace, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Okay, so you're wondering where, I guess Turing is your teammate, since you have TM before your names. Where is he? Yeah, I didn't have time to check where he was before the timing bug struck, so
we should,
I'll have to
we'll have to wait until they're on the formation lap and see.
Yep.
From there. stream is only a picture. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like the radio. We can just like speak to you, describe the race. Although
this is now a podcast. We'll have to be really animated with the driving. I mean, the commentating, then, so they understand what we're seeing. So we are now on the grid.
Oh, and it's gonna let me spectate. That's weird. It does say I'm a broadcaster, so I don't. Okay, I'll click on spectate, see what happens. Team Momentum is an esports team. I didn't know that.
Oh, Team Momentum. I've never really figured out what the TM stood for. Okay. Yeah, glad to have you on board. Hopefully, we might see you in the next season. Maybe with who is Turing's teammate? Hold on.
And there we go. Now we can actually see the starting lineup. Brilliant.
Okay, so you're in game.
Yes.
Can you? Are you so you're not?
I'm.
You're gonna direct yourself then.
No, it's got me spectating. So if you change to somebody else, there we go. Now I'm looking at Nagrom.
Okay. I was just clicking to check out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
It's worked as it should, I guess.
Yes, okay, that's perfect. Yeah, as we can see, the first two places are dominated by the Renaults. It seems like the Renault is a really good car on this track. We have Nagrom in third. He's a strong driver.
Was this their finishing quali positions that they're sitting in just now, you think?
Yeah, this is I think this is the right one, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, the race is about to start. As Nordy mentioned, they're not going to start the race when the lights go green. They're going to start with the formation race lap, I mean. I don't know if you have the formation points and everything.
Yeah, so this is the formation point here. So when they come up to this position on the track, they will go 2 by 2 and form up. I think this is about just before corner 12, I think it is. So they'll be around corner 12, then 13, 14 last corner, they'll be 2 by 2 as they build up the hill towards the final straight, and then they move on to the acceleration zone. In this photo we can't actually see the start of the acceleration zone, I didn't say it in there, but I believe it'll be from the, because it's kind of over the hill, so it should be from the checkered line at the back of the grid to the checkered line at the front of the grid, and at that point is where Ironic can, wherever he decides in that point, put down his foot and set off the race. So it's a real advantage compared to kind of a light start, let's say a formation lap.
Yeah.
And he's looking like, I mean, he's had some pretty good starts, and qualifying wise he's been strong, but Nagrom has been fast. You know, he's had 2 finishes out of 4, and he finished second in both. And he had a DNF, and then he didn't start the first race. He was originally a reserve driver at the start of the season, didn't compete in the first race, and then he moved on to the second.
Yeah, you should be scared if you see him behind you, because he's the guy that's taking, he can fight and go up to a lot of places.
Yeah, is Marvin not racing today? Marvin's saying hello in the chat?
Marvin's not racing today.
Ah, okay. Then I think his teammate Scar Ironic is gonna. Your team's gonna take a hit today, buddy.
Yeah, Ironic. Scar team esports here. How much are the BMWs leading?
Well, there's not very much in it.
Yeah, 20 points.
I can even bring up the team standings now. So it's 20 points. I'll bring that back up so people can see a little closer. So in the team standings, you've got BMW Esports, which is Lusty, who's qualified in 4th, and Scott, who's top of the championship right now, who's qualified in 6th. So they'll both, in theory, they should get okay points. Oscar Esports in 2nd there. Marvin, who's in the chat speaking to us, is teammates with Ironic, who is currently in 1st place for this race, and he's in 2nd place in the championship. So I think with Lusty and Scott potentially finishing quite high, that gap for BMW Turner in the team championship is going to increase.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, if not one of the BMW can't race. Yeah. Okay, so now we can see the guys forming up, 2 and 2, getting ready to get onto the straight. Let's see.
13, and this is 14 just coming up.
I believe the guys with the timing bug is Nanshanker and let me check. It is Nanshanker and Shabazz, it seems.
Okay. So we'll try and keep our eyes on them. Yeah, Shabazz is in a Mercedes, so that should be relatively easy to spot.
He's actually in a Renault.
Oh, I thought he was a Mercedes driver.
It's Taze that's
okay.
in a Mercedes. Yeah.
So this is any point pretty much from, I think now. Yeah, he's just past that yellow point, so he can hit the accelerator.
Yeah, there he goes. Right, so the race is on.
Big lead already. Should be able to take the first corner with a decent gap.
Actually, John Beauregard on the inside of Nagrom right here. Let's see if we can keep it together. Wiggling under braking.
Can't see. Looks like most people have got through that.
There's a lot of 2x2 action down the whole straight here.
That is really good driving from these guys, though, to keep that for the first few corners and still stay too wide. Neither Nagrom or John are letting it go.
Absolutely, and this is the next corner is going to be tricky, I think, because it's a really sharp turn.
And Scott's moved up from 6th to 4th, right on their tail.
I believe it's Lusty. Yeah, Lusty. Oh, actually getting a little tap from WMDR Martin.
Scott
is actually on the attack right now.
He's so fast in the first couple of sectors, right?
Absolutely, I can't even remember. I think he started in 6th and he's already in 4th.
I mean, he made up in the first race. Was it 8 positions he made up? Or 12
actually,
on the first lap?
Nagrom are having some understeer right then, and Scott actually catching up to him. Scott is just pushing Nagrom so hard.
He won't let go. We've seen him some tight racing with Ironic in the last couple of races as well. He's definitely a battler.
We actually have a lot of guys off track. It's lag. It might be lag.
No, I think it was. It's WMD Martin and Lusty.
Yeah,
might have just had contact there.
Shagadan passing WMDR Martin. I believe it was WMDR Martin and Shagadan that went off, I think. I might have some lag as well, so I might be seeing different things than you.
Well, Lusty's dropped down a few more positions. I don't know if that's just through overtaken or not. As we can see, the BMWs are pretty strong. You've got Ironic with a Renault, followed by John Beauregard also in a Renault, in 2nd place, and then Nagrom in a Ferrari, then a big block of BMWs and Scott, Shaggy Dan, WD Martin and Lusty.
Yeah, Nagrom actually catching John right now, so let's see how that goes. Nagrom might be able to catch a 2nd position really early. The thing is with the Ironic, he's probably, since Ironic is so blisteringly fast in qualifying, if he gets first, he's just gonna extend that lead. He's just so fast, so unless Ironic makes a mistake, I think he's gonna be staying in 1st position for a while.
Yeah, he's got just over a 2-second gap, so I mean we're only about a lap in, a lap and a half, 2 laps.
Yeah, it's a bit early to say, yeah, but I think that with Nagrom pressuring John and everything, I think
I'm surprised how quickly Scott has you know, for that first lap Scott was all over Nagrom.
Yep. Scott seems to have relented a little bit in the pressure.
Maybe bides his time. I'm sure these guys are going to slow each other down soon.
Yeah, it seems like WMDR Martin and the times were really close. I had to check. Yeah, I believe WMDR Martin was just on the tail of Shaggy down there.
Yeah, Lusty's definitely dropped back. I'm not sure if he was collected in that or not. WMD Martin being our pad racer, I mention it every week, but again, kudos to him. Fighting up there in 6th place.
Yeah,
I have no idea how he manages to do this in a controller. on a pad.
And I believe we have another battle back in 12th position with Evidence and Shooter, it is. And there we have Clown in the background, which is Shaggydan's teammate. And Clown is, yeah, they are, I can't remember the team name. Hold on.
BMW getting right up there. Now this is where the speed of the BMW is going to come into play. Forcing Evidence into defensive line for the first turn. It's a relatively quick first corner, but is he going to try and hold it round the outside? This will be impressive. Some late braking. The Ferrari's definitely better on the brakes. No, okay, it doesn't commit to the outside line. That would have been a brave move. It's quite a good track really for comparison between the Ferraris and the BMWs, I think, in this one, because the Ferrari is really good at high speed corners and kind of lower speed corners. Really, it's overall probably the better of the cars. If you look in the Elite League, so the league above this Pro League, I think possibly even the top 6 guys or something like that in the last race finish were all Ferraris, and the Ferraris tend to be dominating that table. For us, on the other hand, it's a battle between a BMW and a Renault. But the BMWs, yeah, I think, on all-out speed have an advantage for sure, right?
Yeah, this track, as you mentioned, has a bit of everything, really. The BMW has just monstrous power on the straights, and the Ferrari is being fast in the corners. And this track has all of these things, so... Yeah. Looks like Scott actually is catched up to Nagrom again, so we'll have a look. Yeah, as you can see, actually catching Nagrom going off the track onto the grass.
And they're right behind Beauregard as well.
Yeah, this is going to be Scott's chance. He's looking on inside braking.
Yeah. Nagrom may as well give... Oh, tries a little undercut. Yeah, okay. Brilliant move there. Got the inside line. And now, next up, John Beauregard. Is he going to be able to hold him off? Be interesting to see if Scott gets past him, what kind of pace he puts down, considering that Ironic's qualifying pace was so high. But Scott always seems to have it in the race, you know, like race pace. I don't know whether the setup for Ironic might have 2 very particular setups, one for qualifying and one for the race, and maybe Scott runs the same setup for both.
Yeah, maybe Ironic has like a pinpointed max speed setup, and then loses a bit of pace as his race pace setup is more specialized for consistency. So it might be true that Scott probably runs the same setup because he's so brutally consistent. It's a bit unnerving because you can't make him do a mistake almost.
I think they're already passing a back marker. Somebody's had a bad day up ahead.
Can really see.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. Don't worry about it. It's an Audi.
Okay, it's an Audi. Maybe it's... is it Jay? I think Jay is in a... Yeah, it might be Jay. Well, let's check on Jay. He's in 20th. He's actually in the pits.
Possibly retired.
Yeah, possibly. And then we have... in 21st, it's there, Chris. He's also in the pits with a smashed up BMW. He's gonna have some time. We actually just saw his bonnet fixed, I think, so he's actually repairing and continuing in the race. Yeah, okay, so J. Cole is on the way out again.
Yeah. Have a number of lap drivers by the look of it.
He's actually still damaged, I believe, so he might not have gotten the pit stop he wanted. And there comes Nanshanker, actually in a smashed up Bentley.
There's been a lot of contact by the looks of it.
There's been no contact, yes.
Not quite seen, but kind of always the way of the GT3 cars. That is a flat-nosed Bentley.
That's a very flat nose indeed. That's unfortunate that we didn't catch. I will probably see some of the field of views videos later.
So Scott is already... Nagro must have made a mistake because Scott's already opened up quite a big gap to him.
Yeah, it seems like Scott's increased to 2 seconds over Nagron. But and Ironic is actually slowly but surely increasing the lead.
Yeah, I'm sure that Scott being this close behind John is probably faster. And there's still a lot of time to go in
so.
this race. You know, it's a 5-6 second gap can easily be made up in almost an hour of racing. It's still left to go.
Absolutely. It's 47 minutes left, and a lot can happen. As we've seen, there's already been an incident, so hopefully we don't have another one. I believe Dakusa and Baratis are having a fight. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, Dakusa actually on the tail of Baratis right there. Yeah, Dakusa, I mean Baratis actually going on the inside. Dakusa just powering through on the inside.
Yeah, coming up to turn 5. He's got the inside line there to push him out. Bentley is a big car to try and move out the way.
Oh yes. Also got a lot of power, so it seems like it might be a setup difference there, as Baratis might be running more downforce than Dakusa. Oh, Dakusa actually touching the grass, might lose a little bit of pace.
It's a shame, really, that the Porsches have not been very fast in this season whatsoever. I don't think there's a Porsche very high on the league table.
I believe you're right. So I haven't really checked, but I think there's not many Porsches in the Elite League as well, either. I mean,
something I could take a look at. I'll try and make a thing for that next race so we can kind of see where guys are in cars. I think the
I have to cut here. I think Scott is actually right on the tail of John here. Let's see. Yeah, okay, Scott moving on the inside. John actually blocking him a little bit.
Oh, he can't force him into the wall, though. He has to give him room.
He's pushing him in. Scott actually hitting the wall.
Yeah, I don't think that is... You cannot defend like that, really. And he cuts right across in the braking zone as well. That is a dangerous way to defend, for one. Not just unsporting, but once you commit to a braking line, you should either be committing to a braking line on the inside or the outside of the corner, because you risk, especially somebody that close to you, that close behind, if you brake across into the corner, if the person's on the inside and they're already braking, then really it's your own fault if you cut across them and they hit you. If they don't change their line.
Automatic dive bomb then is...
Yeah.
Oh. And I believe the Audi behind might be Jay that didn't get repaired in his pit stop.
Scott gets better drive out of that corner. Yeah. Yeah, Scott's just there. There's not really a lot that John could do about that. Tried to turn in, but the BMW is holding its position quite rightly. Nothing wrong with that if he's on the inside of the corner.
Let's just see if Jay can Okay, it wasn't Jay. There's another Audi then that went off track. I can't really... I hope you can excuse me skipping about here.
That's okay.
Actually, someone in the NSX. I don't think...
Yeah, he might have loaded back in as possibly that's where maybe a timing bug came from, if he loaded back in the wrong car. I don't know if they can change cars in the season, I'm not sure.
Actually, I think they can. Well, we can in the Endurance League, but actually Lusty now actually catching up to Shooter. Yeah, these guys, I believe Lusty is Scott's
11th.
teammate, and Shooter is on which I can't remember Shooter's team.
Shooter is on. That's a good question.
He is on Mar by TX3, so he and Davu is on the same team. So
yes,
even though these guys have almost the same library, it's not the same team.
Yeah, but Lusty's dropped to 11th from 4th position at the start. So I mean, we saw him. I think he did. I think he was involved in that going off the track with W&D Martin and
he probably was.
Yeah, and Shaggy Dan. But he's dropped further than that because I think he only dropped to about 7th. So he's not had a great start to the race. He should have pace though. I mean, if he's qualifying in 4th, then he should really be able to catch up the Shooter. And possibly that sounded like somebody just went off the track.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, because Lusty's just moved up to 10th. Llewellyn's just lost it.
Okay.
He's dropping 14th,
back on track.
15th, 16th.
Oh, actually, Nagrom catching up to John now, it seems. I'm going to change back to him. So, John actually might be in trouble here. as Nagrom is fast.
Ah, okay, thank you very much, Marvin. So Albafil and Chabas changed their cars. That's why they look like they're driving different cars, because they are. Meaning that they lost all of their points. So that is what you have to take. If you decide to change cars, you can't keep the points that you made in your other car. But
okay, that's how it works.
I think I can understand why, because Chabas was driving the Mercedes, and that is, you know, you're not really likely to pick up any points in the Mercedes. Really underpowered in this game. Albafil, on the other hand, I'll just check what he was in before.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think actually Scott went off track there into the grass, so I think John and Nagrom actually catched up to him a fair bit there. So he's actually not off the hook yet.
Do you think it's a section of the track that he's losing time on, or no? It can't be.
Well, it shouldn't be hard to stay on track there. It's just on a sleek S that should be just flat out everything. And actually, Nagrom. Yeah, actually, John going on the inside of Scott there. Yeah, John might be fuming a little bit because of Scott's pushing him so hard. As you can see, there are almost a train of 3 cars. Seems at the back of the field there's a lot of spreading out. There's actually, it seems like there's a battle between S4 Howie and Copper Piston, so we'll check that out. I think, yeah, as I mentioned, the guys are spread out a little bit, so battles are happening far and wide. I think, does Piston actually have some damage? He does indeed have damage.
Yeah, you can see that just on his wing there.
Yeah.
Piston's not had a great start to the season. He's been performing okay though. He's scored points in a couple of races. Considering that Porsche definitely isn't that fast, the man from Barbados.
Yeah, sorry, Nagrom was just super close to John there.
Yeah, it looks like this is where the real battles are happening, doesn't it? Between this top kind of group. Now Nagrom, as we mentioned before, as the 2 races he's finished in second. But John Beauregard, on the other hand, has far this season.
Going off track, was it Shagdan? I believe it was. I think it was Martin again. One of them, either Shagdan or Martin.
Is that turn 9 and 10? You think that is that they're going off?
Yeah, I don't really understand why though, because as far as I can remember, that's an okay turn. I think maybe they're cutting the.
Oh, right around the outside. Who's gonna have? Well, John's got the inside line here, right? So he should be able to hold this position.
It seems like John actually has the better drive from the. Actually, going too wide into turn 1.
It's gonna be interesting. Well held. Now
John actually pushing Nagrom right there.
Needs to leave him enough width of the car because he's not holding in the front position. They're definitely alongside, so nobody has priority on the road.
Absolutely. Actually, Nagrom and John has been too wide through turn 1 and 2 simultaneously all the time. Maybe turn 3 as well. Actually, sharing a little tap for turn 3.
Really late braking. Nagrom's got the inside line. Is John going to be able to hold on? Nagrom's going to have to go a little defensive. Okay. Some good battling. John is so far in the season 23rd in the first race, 8th in the second race in Dubai, 12th in the Red Bull Ring in the rain, and then he finished 8th last week in Silverstone. But he did qualify. Did he qualify? It wasn't second, was it?
I think it was second, actually.
Yeah, so he qualified second last week. So definitely improving throughout the season. You know, a couple of solid 8ths, a 12th, a 23rd, so no points, but he's showing that he can mix it with the top guys.
I think I had a timing bug right there because these two, Bo, I can't say that name. I'm sorry, dude. These guys actually have almost the same time, split time for me, so I had to click on them. Yeah, sorry. What were you saying?
No, just about John's position. You know, he's done
Yeah.
quite well. It's kind of the same. It's really surprising. Lusty is third in the championship, and he's had a 14th place finish, a 9th place finish, or 2 9th place finishes, and a 6th place finish, which just shows how behind the top two, you know, it's consistency is so important. Because some guys have got, you know, Nagrom's finished second twice, but he's 5th in the league, whereas a guy that's not finished in the top 5. Well, a guy that's not finished in the top 5 once is sitting third, so it just shows that finishing high consistently can really push you up the table. Not high, but I mean, like finishing even within the top 10, let's say, can really, you know, you might end up higher than your finishing positions.
Yeah, the bulk of the points is just such a big difference in the points allocation.
Tim Moores, I got alt-tabbed and rammed into the wall.
Yeah, I just read that, so that sucks, dude. Hopefully that won't happen again. Actually, the evidence on the attack for Dokusa, I believe. Yeah, there he is. Dokusa in the Bentley. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, the Bentley just plowing away on the straights.
Evidence is another interesting one so far. I mean, he started with 26th place the first race, did not do very well. Then he had a disconnect in the second race. Then Red Bull Ring in the rain, he finished 7th, and I thought maybe that was him finishing out of position, you know, finishing so high. But he was pretty strong last week. He had an incident and finished 15th, but I think he qualified quite high up on the table. And now sitting in 13th, so I think he'll be pushing, because he's 19th in the overall standings. He'll be trying to push up towards that top 10 if he can. Yeah. Which would be pretty impressive considering the start of the season that he had.
Indeed. And Dakusa, actually going a bit too far off there. Yeah, Dakusa is one of the stable performers in the... He's not going to let his place go easily, as we've known from the Dubai, which I casted. Yeah. It was just amazing battling between Dakusa and Anchecker and Ricky. So Dakusa is one to look out for when he's going to defend. I think he's in VR as well, if I remember correctly.
Dakusa, yeah, he is...
The evidence going on the inside of Dakusa right there. I believe that is on the straight finish line straight, so that's going to be interesting to see if Dakusa's Bentley power might be enough to pass him.
Going to the outside, which it has worked for a few people going on the outside of this corner then holding it too wide, because it's such a fast first corner that there are kind of 2 lines. Wow, that just shows Bentley power. He's just driven straight past him before they even get to the corner.
Yeah, it seems like the quarrel is not finished yet.
Oh.
I believe actually Nagrom is actually catched up to Scott, as we can see.
Scott
and Ironic has actually, as predicted, just gone off with the first place.
Yeah,
he's just so
driving
fast.
away with it.
Yeah, if he gets away, he's just gonna go off.
So it's important for Scott to hold on to this position, because if he manages to hold second place and Ironic wins this race, he gets the bonus point for qualifying first, that's for Ironic, and then Ironic will get the 5 points difference between first and second, and then they'll be level on points. Ironic will be ahead in the championship purely on position finish, I believe, because he'll have had 3 firsts to Scott's 2. So I think that Ironic will be ahead purely on position finish, which is crazy. Like, after halfway through the season, after 5 races, for 2 drivers to be level for the championship, that would be real interesting to see what happens in the second half of the season.
Yeah. Actually, Nogrom has been pushing Scott so hard in these last turns. Now he's actually going on the inside. The BMW, not. I thought the BMW drive away. Maybe the draft helped him. Wiggling under braking.
I think the BMW definitely has a power advantage, but it's not as vast as the Bentley kind of power advantage compared to the Ferrari.
Yeah. Nogrom actually passing Scott right there. Yeah, Scott is, as you can see now, Scott is just immediately on the attack again.
And John Beauregard is not far away.
Yeah, John Beauregard has actually kept up really well.
So the battle for second place is looking like it's going to last the rest of this race.
Yeah, Scott actually braking much earlier than Nogrom here, so he might get on power earlier, which he does, it seems, going on the outside.
Yep.
Scott actually got a really good drive of turn 3 there.
Yeah. Scott has proven to be a good overtaker. I mean, we've seen him make a lot of moves on people, and he's never, from what I can see, he thinks about things really well. He's obviously thought about that kind of for 2 corners, right? He broke early for that first corner to then get the inside line for a turn, is it 6 I think it is? So he broke early on 5 to then get the inside line for 6 and make that pass. So that's really intelligent driving from Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Also the display at the Red Bull Ring where he was defending from Ironic, I think for like 4 or 5 laps straight.
Yeah.
Just incredible defensive driving, not out of line. I mean, just so frustrating for Ironic that actually pushed Ironic to go on the inside of Scott and hit that puddle as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
so Scott is just such an unnerving guy to race against. He's just so consistent, and he's gonna, if you're in front of him, he's gonna try to attack you, and he's just gonna be there. As you can see, Nogrom actually managing to pass him, but he's just on you so fast again. Really impressive.
So almost 20 seconds halfway through the race. Ironic has that gap. It would take a major off for him to lose the lead at the moment. So there he is, driving away with it. Obviously having...
Actually, I think he's caught his first back marker, I think, and it is Nanshanker or Dakusa. I think it's Nanshanker. Yeah, it's Nanshanker. He who has damage, it seems. Yeah, Nanshanker has wrecked his Bentley. Wasn't he in the pits? No, it was...
I think he might come... Well, he definitely drove past the pits. It just looks like a Bentley Continental kind of coupe now, right? Like a little...
Yeah, it does. It's a new model. It's a
hatchback.
Yeah, so it seems like Nanshanker might not be pitting, actually. I don't know how the hell he keeps it on the road with he's got to have so much downforce damage and maybe engine damage as well. As you can see, his bonnet is just smashed.
Depends on how they repair in the game, though, right? I mean, because you can choose aero. I'm not sure if he's just repaired like suspension and.
Yeah, that might be his. Maybe made a special pit strategy that only repairs suspension and just lets everything else go.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
I
it's
think aero-wise, he's still going to be unstable.
Yeah, he's not going to be setting competitive lap times at all. But maybe it's just gonna. It might be he might be able to take the positions of people having an incident, having.
John Beauregard has just overtaken Nanshaker, and then Nanshaker just took him back. It is getting tight up there. Is that Bayou as well making a move on John?
Bayou actually coming hard in the attack, has caught up. Wasn't he in? I can't remember which position he was in. I mean,
he was in. I think he was behind Shaggy Dan. Lusty was down in 11th, and he's made it all the way back up to 7th. And I think Lusty might be at the back of this group.
Yeah, Bayou has just powered through the field. Yeah, actually flashing his lights once at John and weaving behind him. Certainly unnerving for John.
Yeah, he went a little bit wide there and kind of lost the back end of his car. Oh, that's a bit of a late dive. It's okay, he was just giving him a little look. No contact there. Sit on the inside of the corner here for coming up to turn 5, which is a hard break-in. over 90-degree angle. So we'll see what they get coming into this one. Outside line might be better, like we saw in the last move by Scott on Nagrom. Oh no, okay, didn't get the power out. But I thought he'd try and get in the inside line, which Scott did, but he didn't quite get the power down in time. And this is battle is playing into Shaggy Dansand, who is now right on the back of Bayou's car. That might help out John if he can take the attention away from John from Bayou.
Yeah, Shaggy Dan is a fast driver as well, so he might actually be able to push into Bayou. I have no idea to say that name, so, yeah, so I'll
send him a little message and see if he can tell us how to say it.
Yeah, I believe Nagrom, I will just have to check. Yeah, Nagrom is actually on the tail of Scott still. Yeah, so Scott actually managing to keep the position after Nagrom taking it briefly. Yeah, Nagrom must be so hungry, actually just tasting second place and then just being led behind again in third place.
Well, like I say, on the races he's finished second. So
yeah, this is going to be an interesting battle the rest of the race, because two regular second place finishers battling for second place. That's going to be good. So let's see if Ironicus catch some back marking. Yeah, he's catched two of them. It seems like it went okay. He's got no damage and anything, so just continuing to push out front.
He has quite a big gap now to the next kind of markers, doesn't he? By the looks of the map display we've got up, we can see him coming there into turn 5.
Which I believe is Eidolon, I think, which is in your fabulous
Lamborghini. That's right. Love it. The Huracan. Looking damaged.
Yeah, damaged Huracan.
Yeah.
Actually setting best lap records right now.
I am seeing mass disconnect from the game. That's not good.
I'm going to put up the timings to check.
Yeah.
I believe we lost 4 or something.
I can see us down to 3.
Okay, I believe you might have been kicked.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's, so, okay, actually now I'm losing a lot more people as well. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I hope we don't have a...
Well, we are at about 25 minutes through the race. So it might be that the guys just... yeah, I guess I need to quit the session.
Yeah, so there's 18 people left for me.
I suspect here. I'll go into the lobby and see what's happening. Sorry about this, guys. Project Cars is currently not the most stable game as we've seen through pretty much most of our streams.
I can go briefly into the Discord and ask the guys fast.
Yeah, see what they're saying.
Yeah, be right back.
In the short term, I will take a quick look at this stuff for you guys and see what we have. It's the first time we've had a disconnect in the middle of the race. So far we've been quite lucky in terms of it's only been at the start. It's frustrating at the start, but at least you can kind of watch the rest of the race. See what's happening with the lobby. Okay. Yeah, okay, the lobby's only got 4 drivers in it, so looks like there was a big disconnect in the lobby. I'm not entirely sure what the outcome of this will be. We'll probably have some form of restart, so I'll leave the lobby for now. And we'll wait for my colleague insulaventus to come back and let us know what's going on.
So I believe you got the split with the fewest people in it, so I'm in the one that has the rest of the people. So
okay. Oh, so the lobby's like split in half?
Yeah, so the lobby is sometimes split in half as the game just... We don't know what it is yet. We thought it was with the weather changes, the weather slots changing, not updating for people, so the game just made 2 lobbies, but it seems...
Oh, my lobby had 4 people in it.
Yeah, there was two lobbies split, so there's 18 in my lobby right now, and the rest I mean are in your lobby. So
okay. So I mean, I guess those 18 drivers are going to continue.
I believe so. It looks like it at least. Oh, actually, just to bring you up to date, the Bio actually spinning while he was attacking Shagadan. He's in sixth. I don't think he's gonna lose his place to Lusty. Lusty is in 7th right now. Yeah, Nagrom and Scott are just fighting still. As you would expect, Scott in 2nd place.
I'm gonna see if I can find the lobby to join you.
I can try and invite you and see if that works.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's gonna work.
Yeah, the joy, as you can see, guys, of online racing or online esports.
Okay, so Elite's died as well. Oh my days.
Who's his died? Oh, Elite has died?
Yeah, the Elite's League racers died as well.
Okay.
I'm just gonna check it out real fast and see what they're doing.
See, even though you invited me to that race, it has loaded me into the split with 4 drivers.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah, it seems like they've actually ended the stream or having a break. I don't know, but okay. So can you still? I guess you can't come in then.
No, so I can't come.
I think
what we'll do here, guys, is pause the stream / stop the stream, try and figure out what is going on in terms of viewing, and then this may be the end of this race for now. If it is, we'll post up and let you know. If not, we'll come back and try and see if we can catch the end of the race. Okay, guys, cheers. Give you information. That's like if you need that.
Yeah, I believe we are live again. Actually, now it's me, insulaventus, streaming, so hopefully this works. Let me check if it's live. Yeah, I believe we are live again. Yeah, actually, we are live again, and I'm in the remaining split lobby. So you're gonna have to deal with the UI and everything, but we don't have it. Since the game is not working, we'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'm gonna move around my screen a little bit, and I can actually see what's happening. So we've still got this battle going on between
Nagrom and Scott. Yeah.
Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Nagrom has been on Scott's tail the whole time since he got passed by Scott again. So these guys it's just so much fun to see the two guys that are good at fighting just keep it going.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a tight season between a lot of these guys so far. Just trying to fiddle with my volume controls so I don't get...
I might have to turn you up a little bit. Hold on.
Yeah. So John Beauregard's still there though as well though, right? I mean, he's still within that time. I am watching the stream a little delayed, guys, so if I say something stupid, that's why. But John is still within kind of that second, 2 seconds behind Nagrom.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't pay. I was just fixing something. Yeah, okay. Actually, Scott going a little bit too wide there. Nagrom looking on the inside. No, he's too far back.
Have they caught that back marker that was just in front of them?
Yeah, actually, I think it's Jay. Yeah, it's Jay. Scott and Nagrom are passing him right now. So it seems like Jay has some damage again, or didn't get that damage repaired. Yeah, so Scott... Yeah, Nagrom just pushing Scott again on the straight, looking on the inside. Actually, 2x2 into turn 1. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, Scott with his amazing defensive driving, he's just so hard to pass.
Yeah, he knows where to put his car, right?
Yeah, Nagrom just keeping at it, actually tapping Scott on the side. Nagrom actually John coming in to capitalize on this opportunity, coming on side by side by Nagrom as well. Yeah, it seems actually Nagrom actually let off and braked a little bit while tapping Scott there, and John actually taking Nagrom's place. Yeah, Nagrom going wide. Does not want to let his third place go. There's so many points to be gained if you can get this high position.
I mean, they're looking at
and Nagrom actually going on the outside again, not being able to get the car back on track almost. Oh, this is an intense battle.
Oh, I was watching. So I see that's me just seeing Nagrom switch to the outside and hit the grass for some strange reason.
Yeah, the thing is when you try to get it on the grass, I mean off the grass again, the car is of course going to change weight. I mean the weight balance of the car is going to change to the outside. So it's going to the weight of the car is going to change to the tire, which is on the grass, which is going to make it even harder to turn. So, oh, actually wiggling under braking there. Oh, Nagrom pushing as hard as he can, going wide, wanting to power to pass. John on the inside. Actually, John letting off, it seems. Letting off the gas. Shagadan is actually right on his tail. Really happy that he made a mistake.
Could it have been a slowdown?
It could also be a slowdown because the guys were off the white line, so might be just be John being a gentleman and slowing down because he went outside, and I think Nagrom just drove as fast as he could.
Nagrom went, yeah, he went a lot wider than John, so I'd be surprised if John got a slowdown and Nagrom didn't.
Yeah.
But it's allowed Scott to build up a bit of a gap between himself and Nagrom, and now, from what I can see anyway, it looks like this might help Nagrom build up a little gap between him and John. He's got Shaggy Dan on his back.
Yeah, as mentioned, yeah, Shaggy Dan is a fast driver and a good fighter as well, so yeah, if he can catch up to John, it's certainly gonna slow John down. So yeah, and Ironic has actually put up the lead to 27 seconds.
That is massive.
Yeah.
And so it does, as things stand, we will be level at the end of this race in the championship table after 5 races. That is really good for the people who watch you back, the viewers, whoever that is, and not so good for Ironic considering the start that he had the championship. But at least after going behind for the first time in the season, he's managed to make it back up, go level in the championship. If Scott holds on, if Scott doesn't hold on, then he'll go back ahead in the championship.
Yeah. Things actually seem to have calmed down a little bit as Nagrom and Scott actually Scott having a break from Nagrom, who's been attacking him for like I don't know how many laps. It's been intense, and now it's actually John having the pressure of Shagadan put onto him for the battle of 4th place. Could you look up the scores points?
Yeah,
again?
yeah,
I mean
of course.
the score list to see the difference between the top finishing.
Yeah, so first position you'll get 40 points, so that'll almost definitely go to Ironic, followed by 35 for second, then 32 for third, and 30th for fourth. Or 30 for, sorry, for
30, yeah,
for fourth.
okay.
So there's a 2-point difference between third and fourth.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's a 5-point difference between fourth and second.
Okay. Let's see here. It seems like Boratis might be catching up to for Howie, but that would be impressive. Oh, it's actually been... Yeah, I believe it was Piston that had the damaged Porsche, wasn't it?
Yeah, Piston had a damaged
Yeah,
Porsche.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Boratis who's running the other Porsche. Actually,
Good finishing position, 11th position. He's Piston's teammate.
yeah, I was about to ask if they have the same livery, so yeah. And these guys, which team are they in?
Apex Fever Racing.
Hey, they are in 9th place, as in second to last place in the championship. So if they can manage to finish like this, I think it's gonna improve their team scores and get a few places there. It seems like Shagadan is still on the attack of John right here, as the whole race has quieted down, it seems. Actually, Ironic setting 2 minute 8 second laps right now, and that's the fastest on the whole board. That's a bit worrying for me because I'm in the endurance league and I should be a bit faster, but these guys are actually faster than me in the GT3 cars, so I need to do some work for tomorrow.
It's all about consistency though, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely, that's right. So
Shaggy Dan has made the move, I'll take it. I keep on wanting to go into live commentary mode, but then I realised that no, this has already happened for you guys.
Yeah, and we actually just caught a glimpse of Nanchenker's smashed up Bentley again. Yeah, that's I don't know why I found that so funny. It's just okay when I pressed my custom camera, the back end just got fixed, so might be some server issues there. His front is still smashed up though, so yeah, let's see. If,
yeah, or is that a game issue?
Yeah, it might be. I don't know if I just fixed his back end, because his back end just got fixed.
I saw that when you switched to it, it popped out.
Yeah, and it seems Ironic is actually flashing the lights for Nanchenker. I can't see who's was it? Who's the other guy in the Renault? I can't remember.
Oh, that's John Beauregard.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. So there's the battle between John and Shagadan, passing Nanchenker, I believe. Okay, yeah, so Copper Piston was lost in the lobby split, I believe.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So I don't know how they're gonna distribute the points, if it's total time or...
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really difficult because there's still 2 points positions to be made up. Of all the drivers we've lost. So I don't know if the guys in that 4 kept on racing or whether it's dropped
so
out.
hard. Oh, Shagadan actually off track.
Yes, we had a split as well. And I am now watching because I was split into the wrong half, Ike and Kodiak. I got split with 4, so then we swapped who was the streamer, and now insulaventus is streaming, and I'm watching kind of delayed.
So I'm, you can see my race director view right now, since I had to start streaming. And actually, Chabas is in the pits. It's not pit for tires. I don't know if it might be just be a splash and dash, being a bit too hard at the gas, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's his first race in the NSX, isn't it? It's the first. I mean, since he changed cars last week, this is the first NSX we have in the league.
I think he's in the Renault. I can't remember the guy that changed to the...
Wait, I have pit crews in front of me. Oh, it'll be not Aid alone, Albiful.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he is in the split, I believe. So we won't check on him, unfortunately. I believe Chabas had some front damage there. Let's check. Yeah, Chabas has had an incident with a wall or someone. Yeah, Nanchenker. These guys actually had the timing bug though, so I'm not sure where they are in the real position.
If you pit in the league, it tends to mean you're going to be pretty far back, because I mean the time difference between pitting. I think the pit, and plus if you're doing work, is probably going to be over a minute, and considering the gap between first and 10th is a minute.
I believe we're actually having a fight between Bill and Lusty. No, I was just tempted by the timings. Looked like they were
As
close.
you mentioned that Lusty moved above Bayo in my screen, so you probably...
I might just be too late. Yeah.
But Bayo looks to have moved Yeah, Lusty's moved ahead of Bayo, so that's good for BMW
Turner?
Racing. Turner
Yeah.
Racing, yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Our current championship leader of the team championship.
Yeah, if Lusty actually can finish in 6th and Scott in 2nd, that's just gonna improve their team score even more. And I think yeah, it's gonna be tough for Ironic and Marvin to get back to the team.
Yeah, that'll give them like a 60 points, I think, for this race, just over 60 points.
Yeah, gonna be massive.
Yeah, so it'll be about a 20, roughly, because they're level on points right now. So it should be roughly about a 20-point gap if they hold their positions they're in now after this race. I mean, that's not unachievable in the second half of the season. It's not. I'm pretty sure Scarrow Esports with Ironic and Marvin could make that up.
Yeah.
Considering that, consider that Scott and Lusty for a 2nd and 6th, that's a 60-point haul for the team. So 20 points is achievable.
Yeah, indeed. And I believe Nagrom is actually catching up a little bit to Scott, it seems. Yeah, not so much. Yeah, the race has quieted down again, and it seems like Shooter is actually on the attack for a BO. I need to find out. I'm gonna go Google Translate that name. Excuse my tapping.
Aid alone. I just asked them how to say their name.
Yeah.
Get an easier way. Can't remember who else. There was another driver in the league.
Is it French? Yeah, it's beautiful. Bo is beautiful in the English.
Oh, Bo?
Boo. It's just boo. Okay,
my missus is French. She's from Paris.
Oh, you could say she's boo then, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very Norwegian way of saying it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they can like say bon.
Bon. Oh yeah. I've actually been.
It's almost like bon. It's kind of a way to pronounce it.
I've actually been to France in a language school, so I should know this. I have no idea. I don't know why I got a diploma, but I did. Yeah.
Well, I'd done French before I met my girlfriend, and it was terrible. And I've only really learned little bits of French since I've been with her. So.
Boo.
Okay, yeah, so it's boo then, I guess. Oh, boo. Yeah.
Well,
okay,
I'll
actually,
send him a message and see what he says.
Hold up.
Does look like Shooter was closing on this on Bayou or Bon or whatever. I'm really sorry, Bon. That battle looks like it's going to keep going. Nagrom doesn't want to let go of his 2nd place, does he?
Absolutely not.
He's going to finish. He may as well finish 2nd, so he might just smash himself straight into a wall on the last lap if he doesn't look like he's going to get it, because so far all he's had is 2nds or non-finishes.
Yeah, it's going to be really frustrating getting the taste of 2nd place and then just being having Scott behind him again. I mean, in front of him again. Yeah, but I would be really impressed if someone actually could overtake Scott and drive away from him. That would be... I think that would be elite tier driving.
Yeah, we've not really seen the only... I mean, Ironic's managed to do it today, but Scott has had kind of people around him for the whole start of the race, and also Scott started in 6th position, let's not forget, and he's moved himself up to...
Yeah, he just shot up the places. He was 4th, I believe, in the first lap.
Yep.
From 6th, and then just went away with it. I think he's, as he said, a really intelligent driver. He knows how to handle like super chaotic situations, and just because when I get into that situation, I just want to save myself. But he actually knows how to take an advantage of it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to come out. I mean, he's made a lot of... He's probably... I'm not going to say he's made more passes than anybody. I don't have that information available, but in my head, he's made a lot more positions than anyone that can think of to be able to get up to the the positions he's getting up to, being our current championship leader. And that'll probably change at the end of this race, but considering he's our current championship leader, he's not... I don't think he's qualified first in any of the races.
Yeah.
So far. Yet he's consistently managed to push himself up. And it's massively intelligent driving. He always seems to be able to position himself. He thinks corners ahead. I very rarely can race with that in my head. I just want to make sure I nail that corner properly and don't make contact with my opponent.
Corner by corner, indeed. Yeah, so the thing is that I think it's Ironic's strength is he's just ridiculously fast.
Yes.
He might be a little. I'm not saying he's hot-headed, but he might get a little frustrated, as we saw at Red Bull Ring. So that might be one of his weaknesses, one of his slight disadvantages.
Yeah. Considering he's probably going to be level at the championship, it's difficult to say. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, he's the qualifying pace that we've seen from him, and in the first couple of races where he took those finishes, he by right should be, you know, driving away with the championship. But the couple of times, which was in the Red Bull Ring when he could have held on to second but had mistakes and moved into sixth, and last week in Silverstone again, it was the same kind of issue. I think he was sitting. I think it might have qualified first. I need to look back at that. He had an issue on the first lap, and then he dropped off to fourth.
Yeah. Seems like if he gets befuddled up in traffic and someone doesn't do anything he expects them to do, it's gonna slow him down. So. Yeah.
Which is kind of what happened to Scott, and to an extent in this race. So it's ironic because has definitely had blistering pace on this race so far, but you know, Scott's done really well to move himself up.
Yeah, we're actually having Scott's defensive driving on display again. And Grom's Ferrari is actually really wiggling. I guess it's only lag, but yeah, it looks funny. Yeah, Scott was actually having to drive a bit defensively 1 or 2 laps ago. And yeah, he's not gonna let Lagrom pass ever.
No, I don't. I mean, so I see the last 7 seconds coming up. So is Ironic on the last lap, I'll assume?
I believe so. So Ironic is actually, he's halfway through the track right now. So this is probably going to be his last lap. He's on his last half of this race, actually dominating this race with 30 seconds to second place, just running away with the first place. I've taken pole as well.
Getting that extra bonus point for pole position.
Yeah, absolute dominating.
You just see his lines are so smooth.
Yeah, really, really smooth. Actually, I can hear Bentley roaring away, so he might be catching some backmarkers. Yeah, I believe it's Nanshanker. No, it's not Nanshanker. Then it has to be Dakusa, I believe. Yeah, Dakusa has actually had some damage as well to his front, so yeah, it's Ironic behind him.
I'd like to be able to tell you what controller that Ironic is using, but he's one of the very few drivers that haven't actually told me what his display or controller are.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to see what type of, you know,
maybe
what
that's
he's
the
using. Hardware.
Yeah, maybe that's the secret. Okay, Daku's actually going wide, maybe having lost a lot of downforce during his incident, so he's understeering everywhere. Maybe. I think actually he had some. Is that a bug or an LED? Like it's a green LED, it seems, around his. I might just have missed.
Oh, by his
Yeah, Ironic is about to pass. I believe this is the last lap for Ironic. Ironic's gonna pass the start-finish line now. Is he gonna celebrate? He was very calm. Yeah, actually, there comes the blinking lights. He's celebrating. Congratulations, Ironic. And now we're getting the timing bug. And now Grom actually spinning. I don't know if that was the last lap for him.
Well, he was 30 seconds behind, though.
I think Nagrom actually might have tossed it at the last lap. He's still going fast.
What position is he in?
He's in 5th.
Oh, that is... He is not
he
going to be happy
was
with that.
passed by Shagadan and John. I'm gonna lose them all right now as Chabas is taking over the field. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Nagrom. Actually having a really good attack on Scott for the last... I can't remember, 15 minutes?
Yeah, more probably, to be honest. I mean, they've kind of been at it for just about... So that is really, you know, concentration we talk about every week. It comes down to the last lap of an hour-long race, and lose that, he will not be happy with himself.
Yeah. And there is Jabas, the reigning champion of the timing board right now. Running in the Renault.
So we should be able to see everyone's finished positions shortly. We're just getting the last guys through.
Yeah, there's gonna be 1 minute left.
Rounding off the points.
And then we're gonna get the overview. Yeah, as for Howie, actually, I've not talked about him at all this race, almost. I think it's just been... He's got a really clean car, so he might have been in for a repair. It's gonna be interesting to see, look on the forums and see if they're... to see the incident we missed, or I missed, and see what happened.
Yeah.
Howie celebrating, going through the light, start-finish line.
Did he finish? Was that 10th for Howie?
Yeah, that's 10th, I believe.
That's
yeah.
3 10ths this season and a 3rd in Red Bull Ring. He's done really well in the rain, but that'll keep him nice and consistently in the top 10. He's sitting 6th at the moment. That's definitely going to keep him up there.
And there is Nan Shanker's destroyed Bentley again. I actually managed to fix his rear end, it seems. So, yeah, and the race is over, and let's see the finishing result. Yeah, Ironic in first. I believe, yeah, Nagrom actually managed to toss or had an incident right before the race ended, and that's so unfortunate. He was so impressive.
Yeah, all race right in the back of Scott, battling with John Beauregard, and he's dropped out to 5th position.
Yeah.
So he loses out on 4 or 5 points there for that drop from the 3rd position he was on.
Yeah, and Lucy actually finishing in 6th position and Scott in 2nd, so that's going to be a huge point gain for them in the team. Just going to push them further into the lead.
Bayu, I think Bayu's temporary driver, reserve driver.
Okay.
So that's, a really strong finish from one of our reserve drivers there in 7th position. And we have Shooter, another strong finish for him in 8th position. It's difficult for me because I can't actually see what you guys can see, but Shooter's 11th in the table so far.
Yeah, and here I believe the incident guys are at the back right here, so might be Eidolon or someone that.
If you're gonna have because Dakusa definitely had damage, and 13th is still good points for having a damaged car.
Yeah, actually, I remember right now that Turing's teammate was in chat, and he said that Turing got rammed or something, and they had to pit. And that's, as you can see here, Eidolon, J. Cool, and yeah, those guys have 3 minutes added to their time. So, I mean, total time.
Yeah, they were definitely all
in the
pits at some point. Yeah, and it shows that Dakusa might not have pitted. He might have just driven straight through.
Yeah. And actually, Ironic setting a 2:07 in race pace, probably low fuel, in the last part of the race. That's really impressive. Almost.
We'll need to see what the elite driver's done, because that is, he's a second clear of anyone.
He's absolutely actually, so yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see.
And the guy in 2nd place is 1.3 seconds faster on his fast lap than Scott in 2nd. That's super fast.
Yeah. Actually, Shagadan said setting a 2:08 in race pace, so he absolutely has the pace to compete with Scott and John. And actually Nagrom, yeah, of course, as we know, he was in 3rd, setting 2:08s. Yeah, so I've just been kicked and I forgot to take a screenshot, so hopefully Ironic, I think it was Ironic's responsibility to take yeah, so hopefully we'll have the results.
Yeah, they'll have that up there. They have it from saving the thing. It'll be interesting though to see what they do with the results in terms of the split, because there's still 2 points finishes for 19th and 20th. So someone in the league is going to have an interesting time deciding on how that one's going to be marked up.
Yeah, it's just so tough because of course someone in the split is going to have a free track and someone that's in the other split is gonna have a lot of traffic, and then that's gonna affect their time as well. So it's just so hard to judge how it should be done.
Exactly. So from us, I guess that's the end of this very broken stream for our second week in a row. We've not had the best time with this. I'm sure next week will be better. When we move on to where are we going next week? That is the question.
I believe it was Long Island.
Yes, Long Island, that's right. So next Wednesday evening, afternoon, morning, wherever, we move on to Long Island, hopefully with less server issues, and hopefully less streaming issues for us as well. Get a straight stream out.
Yep, okay, I think that's it, guys. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching this back. Yeah, see you later.
We'll speak to you next week.
We will, indeed.